All right. Yo, what's up, y'all? We live with it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are on a hump day. We got a lot to talk about for today's live. Pull up, say what's up. Let's get the show rolling, man. Roll call. Let me know where you're checking in from, where you at. City, state, country. You already know what it is. Welcome, man. Scorpion, what's up? Just posted up a new reel for y'all to check out and laugh at. That just went up right now before the stream went live. What up, Ricky? Big, what's up? Scorpion, what up? Not. Right, exactly. What's up, y'all? Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, man? This is Drizzy Dre.
Yo, it's your boy French Montana.
Hey, you guys, I'm the Harajuku Barbie, Nicki Minaj.
It's the Teflon Don, Ricky Rouse.
Hey, say what's happening, man? It's T.I.
Yo, what's up? This is Wale.
Yo, what up? It's Wiz Khalifa.
Yo, what's up? It's Jamie Foxx.
Now rocking with my near DJ MoonDawg.
DJ Moondawg.
DJ MoondDawg.
DJ MoondDawg.
DJ MoondDawg. DJ MoondDawg.
DJ MoondDawg.
Get in tune, stupid.
All right, y'all. What up, what up, what up? All right, so we're here with it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the comments. I see a lot of that. Florida's in the house. First time catching the live. What's up? What's up? What's up, man? Carlos, what's up, bro? Is today not your day, bro? Today is my day. It's not Shorty's day, though. Check out the new reel that went up on my IG. Pretty funny. Independent woman tried to do some housework and it backfired on her. Pretty good stuff. You're right, Hawk. What up, bro? Shout out to all the YouTube fam. What up, what up, what up? Welcome. And as always, we remind you all that if you want the best viewing experience for the live streams, they are on my YouTube channel. So come on over to my main YouTube channel where I stream, youtube.com/djmoondawglive to watch over there. If you want to come up off the IG, you can. Yeah, man. This is actually the second live I did. I did an impromptu live from my phone earlier. I was over by Lake Michigan, by the beach in the harbor, and I just posted up for a second and did a quick little live. San Antonio, Texas is in the house. What up? Tato, what up? Mitch, what's up? Rican, what up? Yo, I'm all early and stuff. Nah, it's 8:30. I actually wanted to be on a little earlier. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's up, my man? Your laugh making a video 10 times funnier. I appreciate that, Yoster. Kappa, what's up? There's a shout out. Today is not the day. I can see y'all not gonna let that one down. All right, let's talk about what we got for today's agenda for the live, y'all. All right, we are gonna be on Titanic subwatch. We got a lot of videos to go through about this whole crazy situation with this passenger submarine that went down to explore the Titanic, and now they're stuck. Not in the good stepsister way that we all imagine and fantasize about. No, this ain't it. They are running out of air, bro. This is literally so many Hollywood movies where you watch them and you get claustrophobic, trapped in a cavern, trapped in the iceberg, trapped in a submarine now. I can only imagine what is going on there. I'm sure that this is going to become a made-for-TV movie, or it will in fact be a movie in the next 2 years, because this is a pretty wild story. So we got that to talk about. Also, later on in the show, how many of y'all watch Black Mirror? I just caught the 6th season. I watched all the previous seasons. I just caught the 6th season. Yo, there's one show in particular that blew my mind, and it actually loosely, like, there's similarities in a way as far as being stranded and isolated that it ties into the sub, which I just realized it. So we'll talk about Black Mirror in this one particular episode. We're gonna do the ending explained, because I can only imagine how many people watched it was kind of confused. So I feel like we're gonna do a breakdown on that. That show is crazy. Lilith, what's up? Doesn't the war submarine radar show any other subs underwater? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. There's a lot involved in this whole thing that is making it very, very difficult. So let's jump into it. All right, y'all, we got a video right here. This is from the Coast Guard discussing the search efforts for the missing Titanic sub. Let's take a listen here. We're gonna kind of get caught up And there's a lot more videos to go through about this whole entire situation, which is crazy.
Present only a small fraction of the many dedicated professionals working around the clock on this complex response effort.
Denzel, what up?
We understand this is an extremely difficult time for the families of the missing crew members of
You guys hear it?
Titan, and our thoughts go out to them and the crew. The
Wait a
Unified
minute.
Command
Wait.
Team-
Yeah, it's already they are already sending their blessings, and they're still alive. You heard that, right? He's essentially giving their blessings, like they already know, like they're done.
Is working tirelessly to bring all available assets and expertise to bear as quickly as possible in response to this complex operation. And we remain in close contact with the family members and the crew to ensure they are fully aware of our current and future search efforts. Additionally, we have been in close contact with the British and French Consulates General to ensure that they are fully appraised of our efforts, and we are ensuring that their concerns are being addressed. We're incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that has been provided, including an expert submariner from the Royal Navy, who's here with us serving aboard as a critical member of our team. Additionally, a team of highly trained French ROV operators departed St. John's last night are en route to aid the search. Moreover, our Canadian partners have been providing critical leadership and significant response capabilities since the beginning of our efforts. Again, this is an incredibly complex search operation requiring both surface and subsurface elements, and our unified approach is critical. The location of the search, 900 miles east of Cape Cod and 400 miles southeast of St. John's, makes it exceptionally difficult to mobilize large amounts of equipment quickly. In spite of those challenges, we've been able to provide continuous air and surface search assets, as well as additional ROV capability to search below the surface. We currently have 5 surface assets searching for the Titan, and we expect 10 total surface assets to search in the next 24 to 48 hours. There are 2 ROVs actively searching, and several more are en route and will arrive by tomorrow morning. We've received incredible support with aviation assets from our Coast Guard Air Station in Elizabeth City, the Air National Guard, and Canadian Armed Forces.
So here's the interesting thing, right? They're clearly showing pictures of the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean up there. So obviously we know it's possible for them to get down to those depths. So hopefully we can get some insight as to, you know, what are all the challenges that they're facing? You know what I mean? Young Bull said, "What's up? This outcome isn't looking too good. All we can do is hope for the best." Yeah, this is. I'm telling you, this is the stuff that we see Hollywood movies made on. You know, just being trapped and isolated, and you know, you're running out of air, or some natural disaster is about to happen, and you know, time's ticking away. And I do listen. If I'm stuck in that thing, and if there's a woman on board, I'm just like, listen, you just want to have sex? Like, let's just have a lot of sex right now. Yeah, I mean, what else are we gonna do? What more? Like, at least let me go out literally with a bang. You know what I mean? Creature Shoots, what's up? They're gonna be past tense very soon. They need those bubbles from Sonic. yeah. It's not looking good. Red Hawk said, one can only imagine what their current state of mind is down there. Just totally messed up. Yeah, and we got more videos from psychologists who are sharing what they believe is going to be happening, you know, through the psyche of a person's mind down there. So we're going to get into those videos momentarily too, but let's continue.
Today there are 2 back-to-back P3 flights. One is ongoing now as I speak, totaling 14 hours of continuous on-scene coverage, and 2 C-130 flights, also one ongoing now throughout the day and into the evening. Yesterday, a Canadian P3 detected underwater noises in the surface.
Wait, Bobby on Instagram said they're going to have sex, get saved, and then he's even on child support for the next 18 years.
Area. As a result, ROV operations were relocated in an attempt to explore the origin of the noises. Although the ROV searches have yielded negative results, they continue. Additionally, the data from the P3 aircraft has been shared with our U.S. Navy experts for further analysis, which will be considered in future search plans. The surface search is now approximately 2 times the size of Connecticut, and the subsurface search is up to 2.5 miles deep, exponentially expanding the size of the search area. We also have to factor in the ever-changing weather conditions, currents, and sea states that expand the search area every hour.
Hey, that's an important part of this is the currents. If they're not mobile, if they're literally, you know, think of a feather in the wind. It's essentially that in the water. They're in there, and the currents, you know, there's varying currents at different depths, at different angles. It could be pushing them, God knows, into what direction. And I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges is to pin down where this thing is at, considering the currents. And don't let there be, you know, winds kicking up and there's a lot of wave action, you know, which is also challenging. So I can only imagine, man, what they're going through to do this. This is someone said it in chat a second ago that this is going to be a James Cameron movie in the next couple of years. And, you know, and I hate to laugh, but it actually will be. I mean, remember when Captain Sully, remember we landed the plane in the Hudson in New York? They did the movie with what's his name? Hanks. They did a movie with Hanks like 2 years later.
There's an enormous complexity associated with this case due to the location being so far offshore, and the coordination between multiple agencies and nations. We greatly appreciate the outpouring of support and offers to provide additional equipment. The Unified Command continues to prioritize assets and resources in order to provide the best capability in the most timely manner. This includes weighing multiple factors to identify the most effective resources available to the response operation. With careful consideration to timeliness of equipment arriving on scene, usefulness, and ability to deliver assets to the search area. Over the past 48 hours, we have, through incredible unity of effort, mobilized and implemented a tremendous amount of expertise and response capability. In addition to the ships and aircraft previously mentioned, we've dispatched 2 subject matter experts from U.S. Navy NAVSEA SUPSALV, who will serve as search coordinators on scene for underwater search operations. So I've been stressing unity of effort a lot in this statement, and that's because it is absolutely critical to this complex operation. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the crew of the Titan and their loved ones. We will continue to work as hard and as quickly as possible in an effort to locate them. I will take a few questions, but before I do that, I do want I'm going to have each of the members of the team here just introduce themselves, and then I'll go ahead and take some questions.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Hankins. I'm the Director for Salvage Operations with the U.S. Navy's Supervisor of Salvage.
Hello, I'm Carl Hartsfield from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Commander Rich Cantharia. I'm an exchange officer currently serving on the staff of Commander Submarines Atlantic at Norfolk, Virginia.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Commander Christy Butler, working closely with Captain Frederick from RCC Boston, Search and Rescue Mission Coordinator. Thank you.
Captain, what more can you tell us about the noises that were heard?
All right, now let's see what they have to say.
And just to follow up, what you've gathered so far, based on those noises, should that give the families and the others who care for these people, should that give them...
Yeah, they said in IG chat, Isaac said after a few years, the people will do the same, bro. But that by that time, they can see the Titanic and this boat. Yo, chill. Oh, that's dirty.
So a couple things. One, I think when you're in the middle of a search and rescue case, you always have hope. That's why we're doing what we do. With respect to the noises specifically, we don't know what they are. To be frank with you, the P3 detected noises. That's why they're up there.
Joanna, what's up, baby?
What they're doing. That's why they put sonar buoys in the water. The good news is, what I can tell you is we're searching in the area where the noises were detected, and we'll continue to do so. And we hope that when we're able to get additional ROVs, which will be there in the morning, the intent will be to continue to search in those areas where the noises were detected, and if they're continuing to be detected, and then put additional ROVs down in the last known position where the search was originally taking place.
Yeah, but it was true that these noises were coming in regular 30-minute intervals as reported.
I hadn't heard 30-minute intervals. So here's what I can tell you. I am not a trained ear for underwater aquatics. That's why we have a team of experts that are analyzing that data. That data was sent immediately to the Navy last night.
And I mean, what else could it be? You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're just gonna have, what, whales? Maybe it's, I don't know, but that's probably one of the best things they can do. Honestly, if you're in there, is to bang, you know, get something metal and just keep knocking on the frame of this, you know, submersible and stuff, so that you can send out that sound, so they can help echolocate you.
And it was analyzed overnight. They're still looking at it, but I can tell you that it's
noises. Listening for the cheeks clapping.
It's inconclusive. But again, I think the important piece is we're searching in the area where the noises were detected.
Captain, you didn't talk about a timeline. Can you talk about what timeline you're working on in conjunction with the teams that are there?
It's a timeline in what respect?
How much oxygen they have left off?
Oh, okay. Well, in terms of, so we talked about the oxygen number. I think you're all tracking the oxygen number. I think there's an important point with that, though. The oxygen, that's just one piece of data, right? There are a lot of pieces of data that we need to consider. And, you know, we're continuously looking at that, and we'll continuously, do that throughout the search. But that's not the only thing that's important, right? And right now our efforts are solely focused on the search. That certainly is a dialogue that's happening, but we're focused on searching at this point.
And this is a recovery or a rescue at this point?
Oh, this is a search and rescue mission, 100%. We are smack dab in the middle of search and rescue, and we'll continue to put every available asset that we have in an effort to find the Titan and the crew members.
You know, at some point, the reality is that this is just going to become a recovery operation. You know, because it doesn't seem as though they are making a ton of ground. And I think I saw somewhere earlier, and we might circle, I might find it again to pull it up on the stream here. I think I saw somewhere online that experts say at this point the chances of recovery is slim to none. You know, not even recovery, but to save them in time. So they might be able to recover them, but this might be way far after the amount of oxygen is, you know, expired and stuff. Not to make jokes, but humans do poop, and I don't see a bathroom.
Can you confirm that some sort of rectangular object has been spotted? There was some sort of report about that, I don't know.
So, well, a couple things. So the ROVs, each ROV brings different capability. The ROVs that are diving today, Paul, what's the depth on the 4,000? Yeah, 4,000 meters. And some additional ROVs that'll be arriving tomorrow have additional depth capability. With respect to an object, so yesterday one of the aircraft did see an object. I will tell you this: in search and rescue missions, when aircraft are flying continuously, there is stuff out in the ocean that is floating. We went back, we looked at it. It wasn't. We didn't determine it to be debris. We don't think it correlates with the case, and it is not uncommon at all during an active search to see things, and then we go and look at them. So
just apart from BBC News, when were these noises first heard? How long did they persist for? And if I could also ask,
They said in IG, as sad as it is to say, you have to accept reality, and that they've been underwater for a pretty long time, and oxygen is running out. Yeah, right now it's about 9 hours roughly left. I believe is what it's at. What's up, AJ? Justin, what's up, bro?
any information in terms of food and water that men might have on board the Sun?
yeah, so so several P3 flights have heard noises as yesterday, and we put assets there. We relocated assets immediately. With respect to food and water, it's my understanding there are some limited rations. I can't tell you exactly how much they have aboard, but they do have some limited rations aboard the vessel.
Speaking to the families, how much hope can you give?
Yeah, they probably do have some food and some bags to defecate
I think you
and
need to be
urinate
careful.
in.
We need to have hope, right? But I can't tell you what the noises are. But what I can tell you is, and I think this is the most important point, we're searching where the noises are, and that's all we can do at this point.
Is that your best clue right now about the status of the submersible and those noises? And are the noises continuing now? Have they stopped or are they continuing?
So I just wanted to. So it was my understanding that the P3 had heard some noises today as well. But so I do want to take just an opportunity to invite Carl to the podium just to talk a little bit about. He has a little bit more expertise in underwater acoustics, and maybe just to speak to that in general, because again, there are noises below the surface of the ocean.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
So I'll just turn it
To be honest with you, like there's a lot of noise in the ocean, in water in general, and in the way sounds travel through the water. It's far more extensive than in the air, like the way sound travels through water. So that could present a big challenge because they could be hearing a whale. They could be hearing some other things. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I believe I saw that we've only explored like less than 10% of our oceans. Think about that. Like legitimately, y'all remember Black Panther 2? What's his name? There might literally be Atlantis down there. You know what I'm saying? And what was the actors? What was the Namor? Namor's down there for real. They should call his ass trying to help him out here.
Carl.
Yes, CarlHartsfield. So again, Carl Hartsfield from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. So the ocean is a very complex place. Obviously, human sounds, nature sounds, and it's very difficult to discern what the source of those noises are at times. But I can tell you that this team has multiple sensors. They're in the area. They're sending data back expeditiously to the best in the world people to analyze that data, and then they're feeding the results of that analysis back to the unified team, and they're making decisions. So Woods Hole is here in an advisory role, but by our expertise, what I see is a very tight operational loop that's making decisions based on data, and nothing is ruled out.
Are the noises continuing? He said he heard the noises this morning. Are they still?
Bro, they recreated 47 meters
There
down.
have
They
been
did.
multiple reports of noises, and every one of those noises is being analyzed, tracked,
Welcome back,
looked for
Lilith.
patterns, and reported upon.
Can you describe what the noise sounds like that they're hearing?
Well, you know, the noises, again, very complex in the ocean. You have to be an acoustic analysis, and you have to have context. They're trying to put all the pieces together. The noises have been described as banging noises. But again, they have to put the whole picture together in context, and they have to eliminate potential man-made sources other than the Titan.
You know, I'm wondering, you know, if they dropped where the Titanic is, if the little sub is banging into the Titanic and causing that banging sound, or if it's the people inside of it, you know, pull off a shoe and they're just smacking the metal, which is what I would be doing. I'd be in this, bro, I would be drumming. Hey, I'm over here, Travis Barker, like this, bro. I'm banging everything as much as I possibly can because you want to, you know, get that sound out there so they can echolocate you. How does this thing not have a GPS thing? How does it not have other kind of, you know, double and triple redundancy safety measures on this thing? This is a huge fail. Thank God there's no Spinosauruses alive in today's world. I spent my 250K large on Earth, not on a 100-year-old wreck. Yeah. People have very different interests. You know, these are like the people that want to go and would go do a space exploration trip to Mars. You know, like I'm not going to be the first one up there. I'm going to let somebody else be the first one. So y'all can go get ate up by some weird alien thing that's there. You know, and then once the first group of people colonize it and we know it's safe, all right, I'll take a ride out there. You know what I mean?
In the ocean, is it possible a ship in the ocean or even some mammals out there could mimic that kind of sound?
So I can tell you from my experience with acoustics that there are sounds by biologics that sound man-made to the untrained ear, but I can assure you that the people listening to these tapes are trained. There are a lot of vessels in the area, and they each make noise, right? So all of that has to be eliminated, and it's analysis over time. Plus, as the captain said, the team is searching in the right area. So if you continue to do the analysis, look for different patterns, and search in the right area, you're doing you know, the best you possibly can do with the best people on the case.
Captain, apparently there was a deep ocean salvage system flyway that was sent there to the location. Can you tell if it's on site yet, and how it operates, and how long it would take a rescue attempt with that tape?
Which system did he speak about?
They still don't got a plan to get on air or up and out. They haven't located them yet. They don't even know where they're at in the water.
Hydraulic? Yeah. That's
a crane.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So that's a piece of equipment. It's a crane piece of equipment. There are a lot of pieces of equipment flowing in through St. John's right now. One thing I did want to mention, I think it's important. Some of the ROV capability that's arriving soon is really great, incredible capability. One thing I want to point out is that French team that's coming in to serve aboard with their equipment aboard a French ship. They bring some state-of-the-art equipment, and
the French.
So once they get on, we're going to have more assets down to look, and we'll continue to put them where we think the best location is.
Considering how many days passed, are you still optimistic that you're gonna find them both?
So how many days? Did you ask how many days?
Considering how many days passed?
Well, so we have to remain optimistic and hopeful.
So, Luke,
when you're in a search and rescue case. So we're right in the middle of the search and rescue case. So I don't want to get into a discussion about when that would end with respect to this case. What I will tell you, though, I'm happy to explain to you kind of how that process were to work. The Coast Guard prosecutes search and rescue cases on a daily basis, and sometimes we don't find what we're looking for, and you have to carefully consider all of the factors, and there are a lot of factors you consider. And then after you consider all of those factors, sometimes you're in a position where you have to make a tough decision. We're not there yet, but if we continue to search, potentially we could be at that point. But again, we're not there yet, and that's a discussion that we will have with the family long before I'm going to discuss that here publicly.
What would the rescue operation look like?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
The likelihood that they can survive beyond tomorrow morning when the oxygen is expected to run out.
Yeah, so I can't put a number on the like. I'm not going to put a percent. I don't have a percentage number. What I would tell you is that is just one data point, and there are more data points than that we have to look at. So right now we continue to search, and we'll have that later.
Captain, if I could, who heard the noises, and how often do they hear the noises? Can you just give us any more specifics? Did
Sure.
they hear them this morning? Were they at 30-minute intervals? Just give us some more specifics.
So the report. So
And who described them as banging? Sorry, because this gentleman said banging.
the noises were heard by a Canadian P3, and that was this morning and some yesterday. I don't know specifically or they're 30-minute intervals, but again, I really think the important point to that is we're in the air, we're searching there. We moved assets and we're searching there, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, as you was saying about this, they got until tomorrow morning. Remember that this is what they think. I don't even know that they're for sure that there's like this amount of air left. I think that's what they're working on based off of the company's kind of how they designed it or whatever. But I just had this thought in my mind, right? You can't stand up, so you're kind of scrunched into this thing. Imagine there's always that one person, right? Like we've all seen all these survival movies. There's always the one person that is the spazzer, right? The one that's the first one to lose their mind and like, yo, they're doing the most. They start doing the wildest stuff because they just lose it, they spaz out. I just had this thought in my mind like, yo, I wonder if someone's in that bitch right now losing it. You know what I mean? To the point where the other crew had to restrain them or do something else. It's like a real movie situation. Well, they have air, allegedly. That's what they think. Right now, the counter is at about 9 hours. So they have until the morning and before it runs out. So going into nighttime and to do a SAR rescue, search and rescue operation in the dark, and and they're trying to find them in the deep water. It's super challenging, man. Super challenging. So no IR heat tracking. Here's the thing, is they're clearly not divulging all of the tools that they have to detect stuff in the water. They're not going to do that because it'll tip their hand as to what kind of technology and things that the NATO forces, U.S. forces have, because that's what they use to track Russian submarines and so on and so forth. So they're kind of playing it like, yeah, we've got these things to detect, yada yada yada. I'm pretty sure they have far advanced underwater acoustic detection things going on that they're going to utilize. I think the challenge more than anything is to how are they going to go and grab this thing from down in the depths and pull it back up top. I think that's the bigger issue. For all I know, or for all we know, they might even know where it's kind of at, but I think the bigger thing is how do they get it up? You know what I mean? I don't think there's other devices. And again, they could have something that's super top secret that is able to go down and, salvage something and bring it up from the depths. We're talking like thousands of meters deep in the water, you know?
And I don't know if you mentioned this yet, but is the vessel itself, what's the likelihood that it's actually still operable at this hour, the vessel itself?
Yeah, listen, whether it's operable or whether it's sitting on the ocean floor, whether it's in the sea column, whether it's in the surface.
Wait, let me pause it right here. Here's the inside shot for the sub. I mean, it's not very big, right? You're kind of sitting there. You could probably lie down. At least they have that amount of room to be able to like stretch out and lay down, but you can't stand up in this thing, so now you've got like this claustrophobic situation on top of running out of oxygen.
It's all speculation, and we're just not in the business of speculation. We're in the business of searching, and we're putting everything we can with the data we have to search for the vessel. And I think we'll take one more question. Go ahead, sir.
Just want to get a bit more about the role of the Navy and the assistance being provided, as well as the equipment that is being deployed.
Yeah, so we asked for some additional subsurface support, and we got that through the Navy, through a liaison officer. He's just one of many team members, and we're greatly appreciative of the British government and all the support they've given us.
Can we expect a daily update now on this?
So I think the plan will be to do a daily like this. I'm not going to lock into that right now, but we'll keep you informed, and certainly if there's any major developments, we'll let you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We've been watching the Coast Guard update the search for the missing submersible in the Atlantic Ocean. Officials say this has been a complex mission, but they are using every tool at their disposal. They are adamant this is still a rescue mission and said we need to have hope. They also thanked U.S. and Canadian officials for cooperation with the mission and expressed their thoughts to the families of those on board. Captain Frederick, who did most of the talking there, said they do not know what the noises heard yesterday and again today are, but they are searching in the area where the sounds were detected. He also said 5 service assets, ROVs, are already searching for the Titan, and they expect several more, up to 5 additional, to reach the area by tomorrow morning.
So Red Hawk said the more and more these experts talk, I'm in the belief that they aren't close to even finding them. They keep saying keeping hope. Yeah, I noticed that too. If they were really on it and they knew what was going on, I think they would give a more detailed update and say, hey, we located them. We at least know where they're at. The fact that they were just kind of saying, this is what we're trying to do. We, keep them in the prayers and keep hope and yada, yada, yada. It very much seems like they have no clue where this sub is at. You know what I mean? At least not like specifically where it's at. I think he alluded to the fact that they have a working area that they believe it could be in, but that's not the same thing as like, we know exactly it's right there at, X amount of meters down and at this GPS location, whatever. It very much seems like they are trying to find them in the first place, No, they're not going to find them. I think we all know that this is a very, if they get found and rescued in time, it's a miracle, bro. Like, it's legitimately a miracle. And what's going to be even crazier is, okay, picture this. They find the sub, they bring it back before oxygen, is gone. They open up the sub. My first thought is like, what am I going to see looking in there? Did they lose their mind? And, like, again, we've seen these movies in Hollywood where when a small group of people are under pressure like this, stranded, they're on the clock, you know, their life is ticking away because of something that's going on, we know that it brings out the worst in humans. It absolutely, you could think you're the most kind, gentlest person in the world, but put your feet to the flames in a moment where it's fight or flight, you will murk someone and eat their toes to survive. You know what I mean? Like, we will do things to survive. And I can only imagine when they open up that thing, you know, the sub, and they look inside, what does that look like? I'm very much interested in that, you know, very much interested in what that would be.
Chris Roman is an associate professor of oceanography at the University of Rhode Island's Graduate School of Oceanography. Chris, thanks for sticking around to talk to us. I just want to ask you about the noises. I think a lot of people have interest in it. You're an expert. How confident are you that those sounds could potentially be coming from the submersible?
It is possible. So sound travels very efficiently underwater.
Yeah.
If people were intentionally making noises within the sub, it's very likely they could be detected with a sonobuoy, and then, you know, that position can be translated into a new search area. I think that's what the captain said there in that brief. So that is encouraging. He also mentioned that there's a lot of other things in the ocean that make noises, and so they have people trying to sort this out right now. The ocean is a very complicated acoustic environment, and so it's encouraging that, you know, for what they did here, they were able to locate it and move assets there. I mean, that's the most important thing, I think, at this point.
Yes, indeed. What is the general topography in that section of the ocean, and how is that playing into the rescue response?
Well, there's two things there. So the aerial search, they said, you know, you often see other stuff in the ocean, right? And so it's, you more often than not run into things you're not looking for than things you are looking for on the surface. The bottom, too, you're looking near a shipwreck. So if these ROVs are searching with acoustics or vision, so using camera systems, if they're anywhere near the wreck, there's other stuff on the bottom associated with that wreck. And so that's going to, you know, give you a sort of a data processing problem now. You have to be able to sort out things that are potential targets from things that you're interested in. So that's a complicated thing to do. The seafloor around the wreck otherwise is not that interesting. It's a pretty flat, relatively boring place, which is good. But again, there are other things on the bottom near there associated with.
Look how small that space is.
Chris, how does the ocean's depth, pressure, and lack of light impact both the rescue effort and those on board?
Well, so light, yeah, doesn't exist more than a couple hundred meters in the ocean. So every vehicle down there is carrying its own lights with it. That is a constraint when you're looking for things visually with cameras, because the image you're going to get at any given time is not going to be any bigger than your bedroom. And so now you're really sort of looking around with a flashlight, right? It's like searching a football field with a pen light. It's just not that efficient, right? So these ROVs are likely, we call mowing the lawn, doing sort of organized survey patterns so they don't miss things. You know, that's a major issue. Temperature is a major issue for human survivability inside a submarine. It's only about 4 degrees Celsius or 39 degrees Fahrenheit down there. So, and water is very good at pulling heat out of things. So staying warm inside that sub is definitely an issue. That's the environment. And then pressure, the captain also alluded to bringing assets there. This is very deep. There are not a lot of assets in the world that operate at this depth. And so he's limited in the resources he can bring to bear, and the remoteness of the location is not, you know, obviously in our favor here.
Chris, thank you for your insight and your expertise.
That's crazy.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
We're going to take a short.
All right, let's take a look at another video here.
Oxygen is.
So this one is, he was on a sub that got stuck on a Titanic exploration. Here's what the Titan crew is experiencing. So let's kind of get a feel for what might be going through folks' head in this situation here.
Is running out, maybe less than 12 hours left, racing.
By the way, if you're on IG, if for some reason the IG live quits because IG hates my live streams, make sure in the pinned comment below, you can come over to YouTube and also follow my after hours 18+ where we get crazy on kick.com. Both of them right there. You can follow and sub up. All right, come fuck with me.
To locate the missing sub near the Titanic, hoping that the noises heard overnight provide some direction.
And what is it like to be inside OceanGate's Titan submersible? when it loses communication with the surface. You're going to hear from someone who experienced that very thing.
A potential catastrophic outcome was waiting to happen, according to a former employee and an industry watchdog. Were safety concerns ignored by the submersible company? Those stories and more right here on CNN
They
News
snitching
Central.
on the company, bro. Red Hawk asked, any chance that the sub hit the bottom of the ocean and received severe damage, and that's why they can't find them? I don't know. All I know from what I'm gathering, and I'm watching a lot of this with you guys together, right? Is that they lost contact. I know that it's been going around on Twitter about I don't know if it was an Xbox or Sony controller that was being used to control the sub, which people were kind of roasting. Like, how you gonna have this device and you're using a $40 game controller for it?
Minutes on the. We are getting new information in just the last few minutes on the search for the missing sub near the Titanic. The U.S. Coast Guard is redirecting its search this morning after a Canadian military plane picked up underwater noises. Now there are 5 people on board running out of oxygen.
Oh, it's all dudes? Oh, rough. Oh, damn. Yeah. Well, there goes the, having sex before I die, because I'm definitely not converting. Nope.
Running out of time, a new round of ships left Newfoundland this morning to join the search efforts. Now, noises are not uncommon in the open ocean, but rescuers say they heard banging sounds in 30-minute intervals, regular spaces. An ocean expert and friend of one of the missing sub passengers told us that fact could be significant.
The banging sounds are interesting because knowing P.H. Nargile and his experience with submersibles and his background in submarines, this is exactly how he would try to indicate that they were still alive and try to communicate with surface. You would do some banging, you would do it on a regular schedule so that it was distinguishable from the background noises that are in the ocean all the time.
Smart.
CNN's Miguel Marquez is in St. John's in Newfoundland, which
Very
is
smart.
the closest landmass to where this search is going on. Miguel, what are you seeing this morning?
Well, we saw a lot of activity here overnight and early this morning. Coast Guard ship, a third Canadian Coast Guard ship now headed out that way. It takes 12, 18 hours to get from here to the site where they're searching. The Horizon Arctic left earlier this morning. This is after 3 U.S. military planes, C-17s, very big cargo planes for the U.S. military, flew into St. John's Airport, and that gear was put onto the Horizon Arctic, and that is on its way out there right now. With regard to the banging, they heard it over a 4-hour period. Every half hour or so, they put more sonar buoys into the ocean. They heard other noises later on, and it wasn't banging, but they're not clear what it was. They moved resources. They moved ships that were on the surface to the area where they thought the banging was coming from. They put remote operated vehicles down to the area, hoping to find the submersible, but they did not. So now they're putting more resources on it. They have several Coast Guard ships, Canadian Coast Guard ships, that do side sonar, which means they can basically map the bottom of the ocean looking for a visual signature of the submersible to see if they can find it in that area where that banging was coming from. But it is all hands on deck. If they are alive, they have very little time left, and people here and everywhere just hoping that this terrifying ordeal comes to a happy ending.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, they still have hope, that's for sure, but we are waiting for more updates at this point from the Coast Guard and other officials. Miguel Marquez, keep us posted. Thank you very much. Kate?
Holding out hope with the understanding of just how risky, how dangerous it is down there, as everyone knows. And there's only a handful of people who have ever seen the Titanic's wreckage in person, but it is part of a growing trend known as extreme tourism, where people pay out huge sums of money to push the boundaries of conventional travel.
To kill yourself,
understandably
basically.
and inherently dangerous. And CNN has now learned that 2 years ago, CNN has learned that years ago, 2 employees raised safety concerns about the now missing Ocean Gate submarine. CNN's Tom Foreman has more on this. He's joining us now. Tom, what are you learning?
Well, hi, Kate. You know, as the hours tick down, the questions are coming up more and more about how this reached this point, specifically how this submersible was developed. You mentioned the employees there. An industry group also jumped in, and there was a letter that was found by the New York Times from them in which they said about what was happening at OceanGate. Our apprehension is that the current experimental approach adopted by OceanGate in developing this craft could result in negative outcomes from minor to catastrophic that would have serious consequences for everyone in the industry. And it went on to say your marketing material advertises that the Titan design will meet or exceed the DNV GL safety standards. These were standards developed a long time ago for this type of vessel. Yet it does not appear that OceanGate has the intention of following these class rules. Your representation is at minimum misleading to the public and breaches an industry-wide professional code of conduct we all endeavor to uphold. Simply put, Kate, years ago, there were people in the company and outside the company saying your approach to developing this craft is too experimental, too outside the norms, and is not being submitted to the that worldwide.
Wait, that's what the thing looks like? This does. It doesn't even look advanced, bro. It's just a tube with some prop motors, on the horizontal and vertical axes here. You know what I mean? Like, what? What?
That worldwide maritime organizations expect. Bottom line is, a vehicle like this, engineers will say, should be tested to maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of pressure you expect to encounter. And the question is, was this one tested to that level at any point?
Yeah, the company is going to be facing these questions continued now going forward. It's good to see you, Tom.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sarah?
Good seeing you.
All right. Joining us now is Titanic expert, scientist, undersea explorer, and a physician, Joe McInnes. Thank you so much. You were part of the first expedition to locate the wreckage of the Titanic, but you had an experience down there that may in some ways rival this. Did you actually get stuck without communications for a while, and what was that like?
Well, on my second dive to the Titanic, I made one in 1987 with the French government research sub, and then with the Russian research sub from the Russian Academy of Sciences in 1991. And on that dive, we made 17 dives to the Titanic. I co-led the expedition. We made 17 dives. We did the science. And on the last dive, I climbed into the sub with the chief pilot, and we went down to the Titanic and landed on the floor of the pilot house and spent some time reflecting about what we'd done and what we'd seen, and having a moment of respect for the ocean and for the Titanic accident. And as we were about to leave, the pilot pushed up the put on the thrusters. Up we went and stopped about a meter above the floor. Ooh. And then he put it back down. So he found out very quickly that we were stuck. And so wisely, because he was an excellent pilot, called in the second sub. And they came in, the two pilots talked about what the situation was, and we had put the pilot had slid his left side skid underneath the sub. When he landed, the skid went under some telephone wire. And so with the help of the second sub and conversations between the two, we moved up and down and backwards, and were able to kind of tiptoe out of that pretty tense situation. But again, it was great coordination, great pilots, great submarines.
Just thinking about...
I don't get that, man. I don't get why you would want to go and do something like this. There's absolutely going to be a ton of lawsuits. Someone else said in IG chat something about you have all this money and you don't value it and you do this. I don't know. What compels people to go skydiving? These are very extreme sports. I think this is in that wheelhouse of just extreme tourism is what they're calling it, I guess. Very much like dude, if people can get on a ship, on one of Elon's SpaceX ships and go for a 2-week space tour, bro, people would sign up right now and go do it. And we already know it's going to be the uber rich, the billionaires and the millionaires, multimillionaires that are going to do it first off, because the rest of us ain't got the bread to go buy a $500,000 ticket to go to space, right? But it is a risk that comes with it. I think the difference here is that it seems that with OceanGate, they're just finding that there was all kinds of red flags before this even happened, which shows just a clear indicator of negligence. This could have been avoided. You know, had all those precautions been in place and prior testing, yada, 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 if they did all of that, this could have been a very successful journey for these people. They could have came back. It could have been, this could have been a totally different story about how this first group of extreme tourists went down and they got to sight and see the Titanic, and and we would have brushed over it and we would have been talking about whatever ratchet things that's trending on Twitter. But instead, it's going wrong, and we're talking about people trapped in a submarine down at the bottom of the ocean by the Titanic somewhere.
Being in that space for most of us humans feels anxiety-provoking, to say the least. Can you give me a sense of what it is like when you're in that scenario? You are 12,000 feet under the pressure of the water. What does it feel like? What is the sense of being there? And what might these explorers and these folks that went down there, businessmen as well, be feeling right now?
Well, I can't say, I can only imagine, like the rest of us, what they're feeling. It is a very confined space, the subs that we use. And so you get used to that. But for these folks who are doing this for the first time, it must be red line moments for them. But the news is that PH is with them. PH Nargilé is one of the members of the team. And you couldn't have a better person with you in a situation like this than PH, who's made 35 dives to the Titanic, who is calm under pressure. The best kind of leadership will be coming from PH. He will be calm, quiet, and doing all the right things to conserve energy, to conserve oxygen.
Yeah, that's the big thing they could do.
Psychological, emotional energy as well.
Right.
Because that expends more oxygen as well. If you start to hyperventilate or you start to freak out. Dr. McGinnis, can you talk to me about how significant the sound that sonar has picked up? There has been every half an hour,
305, what up?
For about 4 hours, a banging sound is how it has been described. Is that something that you're trained to do, to try to make sound so that someone might find you? Or does that tell you that this is definitely human activity or something else?
Well, as your previous guest mentioned, it's an indication, possibly, of human activity that is coordinated. And again, this is the kind of thing that we would hope. We're all engaged in this kind of collective imagination of what's going on down there, and we're beset with fear and sadness and hope and uncertainty. But these sounds have given us a sense of hope, and let's hope that we can solve this problem before the oxygen runs out.
Everyone in the world right now is 100% playing the scenario in their head of what's happening in there. He pointed out that there's one seasoned veteran submariner that's in there that, best case scenario, he's telling everybody to chill out, relax, lay down, maybe slow your breathing down to extend the amount of oxygen use, right? Because it's true, if they're spazzing out and they're just, oh my God, doing all this, that's more, you're sucking in the air a lot more. So the best thing they can do is chill out to extend the amount of oxygen they have access to. And, like he was doing, or if they believe it's them pounding away to, get that signal out there that, one, that they're still alive, and two, to help them focus the location on where they're at. So,
now to the
that's going to be, pretty important here. Let's take a look at this. Central Florida ocean engineer sheds light on the potential fate of the Titan.
It's caught people's attention worldwide. The search for a missing submersible out in the Atlantic Ocean. And as of right now, there is just a half day's worth of oxygen left in that vessel. Obviously, it is now a race against time to not only find, but save the people on board if possible.
In a moment, we'll hear from WestJew's Scott Heidler, who asked an underwater adventure expert why people want to go on these types of trips. But first, WestJew's Jim Payne joins us in studio with why the Coast Guard says there is still hope.
The U.S. Coast Guard is still calling this a search and rescue mission rather than a recovery mission. That's because there's still a chance rescuers might find the submersible with its 5 passengers alive. Rescue crews have now searched a section of the Atlantic Ocean that is twice the size of the state of Connecticut and 2.5 miles deep. They're focusing on an area where banging noises were detected early this morning.
We don't know the source of that noise, but we've shared that information with Navy experts to classify it. In the meantime, it's a target, it's a focus for us to look at. And so we've deployed the remote operated vehicles and the surface vessel, the Canadian Coast Guard surface vessel that has sonar capability in the vicinity.
The Coast Guard did send more ships to help with the search today. They joined 8 vessels already there, including that Canadian Coast Guard ship with sonar capabilities, another ship with communication and navigation equipment, and a deep-sea diving ship from France. Back to you, Stuart.
Jim, thank you. What is it like inside of one of these small, deep-water vessels like the missing Titan? WestJew's Scott Heidler spoke with a local expert about what could have possibly gone wrong and why some people still take the risk.
Like many across the country and the world, captivated by the story of the submersible Titan out in the Atlantic. Stephen Wood has insight on a similar vessel. He's a professor and chair of the Ocean Engineering Department at Florida Tech.
The key point is you have no space. You're very crammed in it.
There are 2 aspects to focus on, according to Professor Wood. One, the immense pressure at that depth, unforgiving and deadly with the slightest hull issue.
If there was a catastrophic failure, otherwise known as a small hole, the whole thing goes immediately, in which case nobody's alive.
The second specific to this dive near the Titanic.
They went down to a shipwreck, and the most dangerous thing about a shipwreck is getting entangled in some of the parts.
Banging into it.
And that's happened before with submersibles exploring shipwrecks to deadly ends.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that it wasn't catastrophic and that they just got entangled, and an ROV with the proper tools or utilities on it should be able to free them, if that is what happened.
But there's still the question of reaching them if they are entangled in time. Professor Wood on why he and others do this, travel deep down in the ocean despite the clear danger if something unexpected occurs.
When I go down to the bottom of the ocean and looking at things which nobody else ever seen, it is amazingly fascinating, and it's exciting to be able to see these things and to actually get back science information. Every time you take a picture, that's new science that you're bringing back.
In Melbourne, Scott Heidler, West 2 News.
Yeah. I get it when you are a scientist doing this. I don't think we're at a place clearly where this needs to be a actual, touristy thing. This right now, I think this needs to remain for scientific purposes because of the risk and all that stuff. There's no real inherent benefit for regular ass people to go down here and do stuff like this, man. You imagine? I mean, this is already like the worst PR for this entire industry, because I think OceanGate isn't the only company that's been trying to do this stuff to develop submarines to take people down to the depths to go see all these, sunken, ships and wrecks and all that stuff. But this definitely just, I think this pretty much destroyed their industry, 100%. If not through regulation, then through people's just publicly seeing this and be like, oh, I ain't going to. Like, imagine I go into this thing, it's my watery grave, to die inside of a stupid tube. You know what I mean? Wives of bound will rejoice upon reading the will. It's stupid. Hey, don't forget, guys, if you're on IG, slide on over the pinned comments, my YouTube channel, DJ MoonDawg Live. It's where I stream daily. So if I'm not on IG, I'm there. So come through, sub over there. And for the 18 plus after hour streams on kick.com, DJ MoonDawg Live. Definitely appreciate if y'all would sub and follow to both of those and come hang out over there as well. All right, let's continue with this one. Missing Titanic submarine, 5 things that may have gone wrong. All right, let's find out what may have gone wrong with the missing Titanic submarine here. According to this video, there's 5 potential things that may have happened here.
Another mystery of the deep. As hopes fade for the 5 wealthy Titanic tourists who vanished while exploring the wreck aboard a mini submarine, one question keeps arising. What happened?
Yes.
It is possible that no one will ever know after the sub, called Titan, suddenly went silent hundreds of miles off the coast of Canada and around 13,000 feet underwater beside the Titanic. On board was a British billionaire, one of Pakistan's richest men and his son, a famed French explorer, and the CEO of the company running the dive. They began their voyage early Sunday with 96 hours of oxygen inside the sub and have not been heard from since. Submarine experts agree that 5 possible accidents are the most likely cause.
I'm just bugging at the fact that, I mean, just look at this thing. You know, we're in 2023 and this is what you create to take you down 13,000 feet. I would never get in this. This is, I mean, this looks archaic. Like, this is the best design you can come up with for a submersible, you know, submarine. I wouldn't trust this. Would anybody here trust this? I know I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I would not trust going in this. It literally looks like some kids in high school put this together for a science, you know, competition. Not something that was designed by a company, you know, with all types of experts in the field of engineering, you know. Like, what? Hell no.
5 possible accidents are the most likely cause. Perhaps the most obvious explanation is that the submersible became tangled in the wreckage of the Titanic itself. The ship split into 2 pieces as it sank back in 1912, and those sections now lie amidst a huge debris field on the seabed. Navigating the wreck is extremely dangerous, according to those who have dived it. It is possible that the sub's pilot got disoriented, perhaps after communications were interrupted, causing the craft to get snagged. Another explorer has described how a sudden undersea current swept his submarine into the wreck, getting it temporarily stuck.
That's super important, y'all, that in the oceans, in bodies of water, you know, I got Lake Michigan here in Chicago, there are different currents at the various depth levels, and they vary in their intensity and their speeds and all that stuff. So that's also a very good point there, that the currents may have pushed them into, let's say, the ship, and they banged up and then they got hung up. It could be so many of these different things, a combination of them, in fact. And if not that, if say the engines or the motors went bad, they have no power, now they're just drifting with the current, which God knows they could be miles away from where these search efforts are focused at, you know what I mean? So this is so crazy.
Stuck. Titan is equipped with drop weights, which can be thrown overboard to give it extra buoyancy, potentially freeing it and helping it float to the surface. But if it is stuck, for example, inside the Titanic, there could be little the crew would be able to do except wait for help. A banging noise picked up on sonar could be the trapped crew knocking on the hull of the sub to attract attention. But rescuers have still been unable to find the craft. Titan could also have suffered a power outage or equipment failure.
It's true.
The sub relies on batteries to power the communications, and a failure could explain why it lost contact with the surface. But they also power the engines, the lights, and the heating. A catastrophic failure would have left the sub dead in the water, in complete darkness, and in freezing temperatures. If that is the case, experts say the cold could kill quicker than the lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
Questions.
It's essentially hypothermia. They said that down at those depths, the water temp is in the low 30s Fahrenheit. You know, that is hypothermic water that you're in, and even though you're inside the shell of the sub, it's metal, so that metal, all that metal's doing is just transferring that cold within it. Man, all types of bad. This is like the worst nightmare for anyone ever. You know, it's like, do you die from suffocation from no air, or do you die from you know, freezing to death inside of this essentially tin can, right? Like, just crazy.
Have been raised over the quality of the sub after one passenger pulled out over fears the company building it were cutting corners. He discovered that scaffolding poles were being used as ballast, and a video game controller was being used for steering. After that,
there it is, y'all. That's the Logitech controller that was used to control the ship, or the sub. Like what? Like what? Hey, look. It's not that much different from what I got. It's really not. Imagine. Hey guys, come on board my submarine. Don't worry, I got the controls right here. What? Ain't none of y'all coming on board with me. It's a joke. That should have been the biggest red flag.
After that, he demanded his money back. An OceanGate engineer also previously quit over safety concerns about the structural integrity of the sub, and an industry body wrote a letter in 2018 criticizing the company's experimental approach. Losing power would make the sub harder to find, and there will still be the matter of getting it back to the surface when its engines aren't working. They may still be able to surface, but there is no sign of the vessel yet. Alistair Grieg, a professor of marine engineering at the University College London, said rescue options will be extremely limited if the sub is without power.
Yeah.
Another possibility is that the sub has become tangled on a piece of debris like a fishing net. Thousands of so-called ghost nets are swept around the deep ocean after being lost by trawlermen. Back in 2005, a Russian submersible called AS-28 became tangled on just such a net while it was underwater off the Kamchatka Peninsula in far eastern Siberia. The net got caught in its propellers and caused it to sink to the seabed, with a British underwater drone brought in to cut the netting and free it. All 7 crew members made it safely to the surface 2 days later. But they were stuck under just a few hundred feet of water, compared to the Titan's 13,000 to cut the...
That's so far down in the water. Loki asked, what is a ghost net? Ghost net is essentially, if you know, you have commercial fishing boats out in the ocean and they trawl net. So they basically have these big nets they put in the water and they just scoop fish into them, which is a whole other issue which needs to stop because it's indiscriminate. It catches everything and outside of the target species of fish. Anyway, they're talking about those nets that those fishing boats lose, they break, whatever. And so those nets end up drifting in the water and they call them ghost nets. And eventually they just fall to the bottom of the ocean or they move around with the currents and stuff. And so they're saying that those ghost nets can get entangled with some of these submarines.
Craft free, rescuers will first have to find it. And sonar is not good at distinguishing the sub from the wreckage of the Titanic scattered around it. And even if it can be cut free, the Titan will still have to make it back to the surface on its own, because transferring the crew to another vessel at that depth is impossible.
Yeah.
After the submersible suddenly stopped communicating with no explanation, a catastrophic implosion of the vessel has become a leading theory. G. Michael Harris, an experienced Titanic explorer, fears that is exactly what happened, 10,000 feet down, where the pressure is 350 times greater than at the surface. When a submarine's hull fails at depth, the pressure of the ocean will almost instantly crush it and anyone inside. Even a small fault in the carbon fiber and titanium hull could have caused the accident, and Titan's 3 previous voyages were cancelled over fears of structural fatigue.
Wow.
Owners OceanGate said the vessel, which features many homemade components such as hardware store washers, had been repaired since and was equipped with a sophisticated system to monitor for any problems in the hull. But if an issue had suddenly occurred deep underwater, it is doubtful the crew could have done anything in time to save themselves.
They had hardware store washers on this thing, not even industrial grade or military grade. They just went over to Ace Hardware and got screws and nuts and washers to put on this thing. God, wow.
Such an incident occurred in 2017 when the Argentinian Navy submarine ARA San Juan went missing in the San Jorge Gulf. The wreck was only located a year later, scattered deep down on the seabed. It is not known exactly what caused the accident, but it is thought an electrical failure caused it to dive beyond its crush depth, causing an implosion, killing all 44 people on board. If that is what happened to the Titan, then the crew would have been killed instantly. Another possibility is a fire on board, perhaps caused by water getting into the electrics. In 2019, a blaze broke out inside the battery compartment of the Russian submarine Losharik while it was 1,000 feet underwater. Fighting the fire in corridors as narrow as a few feet, the crew managed to get Losharik back to its parent submarine, which hauled it to the surface. 14 submariners, some of the most experienced and highly decorated in the whole of the Russian Navy, were killed. If a similar blaze were to break out on board the Titan, then the results could easily be fatal. Even if the crew somehow got the flames under control, the fire could knock out the electronics and eat up the oxygen inside the tiny 21-foot craft. There is still a lot we don't know about the Titan's fate, or the fates of the men on board. If the craft can somehow get itself to the surface, then there is hope that they can be saved. But if it is really stuck at the bottom of the ocean, then the chances of finding them alive are slim and fading fast.
Yo, listen, there must be something about the, Titanic in that area that it's just claiming victims. It also reminds me of like the Bermuda Triangle, right? There's this whole superstition that, you fly over the Bermuda Triangle and you can go missing or accidents happen. In fact, there's quite a few things that have happened over in that area. So it just seems like there's certain areas in the world that we shouldn't probably go to, you know what I mean? Like, bad juju, maybe the Titanic got ghosts over there that are claiming, ships that come around there. I don't know. But it doesn't help that this guy was building this thing with washers and nuts and stuff that he got from a hardware store, using a $40 game controller to control the sub. This is all types of bad. Ironically, the owner of the entire thing is on board. He's going to end up avoiding the lawsuit. His company's going to go down. This is probably one of the wildest things we've seen in a long time. As far as, I don't know. I don't even know what to classify this as. It's just such a very crazy story. And like the whole world is captivated right now about this. And I think it really comes down to the fact that this is something like a movie. Like we've all seen these movies where, 47 meters down, all these, Armageddon, all these movies where, it's you versus like nature and you're stuck. You have a limited amount of time to survive. There's a big catastrophic event about to happen. And here they are, man. These people are living a real movie situation right now. And all of us in our heads are thinking like, what would I do? Like think about it. What would you do right now if you're in this thing? Let's say that they're still all alive, that none of the 5 things that they said in this video have happened to this point, or maybe just that they're stuck. Let's just say that they're stuck. That best case scenario, they're stuck on something and they just can't shake themselves free. They're all alive. There's no structural hull failure or anything like that. They're all alive. Can you imagine what is going through their heads? Put yourselves in their shoes. Put yourself in that scenario. What are you doing? What are you thinking about? I legitimately feel horrible for them. You're in your grave. You're alive in your grave. You are going to, die in a watery grave. It is sad. Really, really sad. So let's take a look on Twitter because, Twitter's doing what Twitter does. It's trending all over the place. I saw this one. I thought this was interesting. So this lady tweeted out, she said, I texted my engineer dad about the Titan, and his reply is morbid, to say the least. Let's take a read through here. Yes, I've been following it. Hope it's near or at the surface where it can be found more easily. I think if it's deep, there's no hope. Haven't seen much discussion of an emergency plan to jettison ballast and rise to the ocean surface. Yes, that is something that came to my mind. How do they not have some kind of emergency system where they can blow the ballast, it shoots them up to back up to the surface, or they have some kind of flotation device they can deploy. It pops out and it forces them to go up. There's other things there that they have not said anything about in any of the prior press briefings or anything like that. Horribly unsafe design, no navigation system, poor comm system, exposed thrusts, no inflatable flotation collar once it rises. True. Limited air supply, locked in, no way to get out, no way to get fresh air in when on the surface. Oh my God. They're locked in? Yo, that's crazy. Even if they got to the surface, they couldn't even open it up to get out. Wow, this thing is, it's literally a coffin. You almost have to think to yourself, if the guy made this on purpose to be a way to just, by design, let me make it so that you couldn't survive anything in this thing, because it just doesn't seem logical to design it the way they have. I'd be nervous taking it too deep. He said, I'd be nervous taking it to the deep end of our pool, never mind 13,000 feet below the surface in total blackness and cold, 6,000 pounds per square inch, PSI. Interesting choices about life and death and air. Enough air for 5 people for 4 days, or enough air for 1 person for 20 days, which raises the question, does somebody who has that knowledge take advantage of that situation and, everybody else to prolong their life? This is so fascinating and crazy. Who goes first and why and when? When you realize you need more than 4 days to be saved. Does the irresponsible CEO go first? Does the billionaire offer to give billions to those who take their lives? Does anyone sacrifice to save the 18-year-old? Holy jeez. Mojo, what's up? Cameron, what's up? Cameron's Mojo said, how many men are down there? There's 4, and including a father and son. Seeing Titanic in the movies wasn't good enough, clearly. What's up, Crystal? No more banging noises reported being heard. Does not sound good. Wow, that doesn't sound good. I think they couldn't find those parts at the Ace Hardware. Shut up, man. There's so many questions. Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at what this is. Hold up. People are already starting to meme it. Let's see.
This bullshit right here is the motherfucking Titan. It's a submarine to take tourists to see the Titanic. It is 22 feet long, and it can hold up to 5 people. But you gotta pay the CEO $250,000 a piece, and this motherfucker was considered a fraud because these people paid this man over $200,000 to see the Titanic, and he ran off on their ass. Oh, I know a scam when I see one, cause this dude wasn't shit from the start. And look what he controlled this motherfucking with, a motherfucking Dreamcast controller. On Amazon, that bitch go for $30 and less. And it take AAA batteries, yeah, the skinny kind. And of course, only rich people can afford this shit. Now they all missing. And the Titanic is 12,500 feet deep in that motherfucker. After an hour going under, they fucking lose connection. Pets believe I had a top 10 strongest thumb in the fucking world. Cause I be in that bitch pressing triangle like a motherfucker. Now them folks done paid all that damn money to go to motherfucking glove world. If I was down there, we would have been run out of oxygen. Cause the whole time, I would have been whipping dude ass. I would have been thinking about the shit that used to be here that might still be here. The Titanic sunk in the Atlantic Ocean. And these motherfuckers crazy as hell. Cause this the type of shit that your ass gonna see down there.
Not this. Moby Dick and the giant squid. Hey, look, I know it's supposed to be funny, but God, oh man. Oh, it's crazy. People just need to leave stuff alone. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine what the dad may be thinking with his son down there with him? Heartbreaking. You know, that reminds me of, y'all, very sad too, Kobe and his daughter. Remember? Can you imagine that? Bro, there's, I mean, as a parent, I'll listen, I'm gonna crash whatever, I'll eat that. But to be there with your child and in that blink of an eye, it's about to happen, bro. Oh my God. That is that's I don't know. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to be honest. That's just wow. Like I'm lost for words, clearly, you know what I mean? Couldn't you get a loan from Billionaire Pilot to like build that? What do you mean? Let's take a look at this one. POV on board the Titan submarine.
Oh my
Damn. Yo, this is flagrant. Oh, it's funny, but oh no, I'm going to hell. Don't laugh, y'all. Don't go where I'm going. That's a funny meme, but it's too soon, man. I'm going down. Who else laughed? Who else laughed? Be honest. Oh, bro, to be honest, I don't think they're alive. Listen, if they don't even find the sub overnight, by the morning, I think we all know, it's a wrap. Moon, you're gonna burn. I'm gonna burn. No one else laughed? Okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that laughed. We all going to hell. I gotta run this one back.
Oh my.
They said these memes are surfacing faster than the submarine. Yo. I gotta be careful what I scroll through on Twitter because, they having porn all over the place now. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. And the internet has no chill, y'all. Internet has no chill.
Button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. It shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet, sort of. And yet I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Oh my God. Oh man, bro. Are you kidding me? They probably they banked so hard they probably broke the cheap thing. You might not be wrong. Not the Gears of War, bro. Yeah. Imagine you're just waiting for your death, looking at each other, seeing who's gonna die first. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Yeah. And imagine there's no bitches in there with me. I can't even get laid before I die. That's even worse. You know what I mean? That's even worse. Oh my God.
Only imagine how terrifying it must be, being stuck on the bottom of the ocean in a small vessel where you can't even stand up. There are no seats and only one toilet, a small black box with a black curtain drawn across for privacy. All passengers are barefoot and must sit on the floor. Also the fact that experts are saying there is no way of rescuing the crew if the tiny craft is still thousands of feet under the sea, because the technology required doesn't exist. Apparently on Tuesday they heard banging sounds in 30-minute intervals. This would mean that they are still alive. A lot of fears were that the vessel had imploded. So that means the vessel must be stuck on the ocean floor. This submarine is designed to float to the surface when something goes wrong, and it hasn't done that, so they're stuck. But what is it stuck under? It could be stuck inside of the Titanic. They may have went directly inside of the rusted ship, and who knows? What if the Ocean Gate vessel caused the Titanic to collapse? What if the banging sounds were the Titanic falling apart? I'm just assuming here. But it could also be floating at the surface. In that case, Starlink should be able to locate them. So it seems most likely they are stuck below. Food and water are the least of their worries right now. It is thought that if the vessel had the full 96 hours worth of oxygen when it went down, it would run out at around 11 a.m. on Thursday, June 22nd morning.
Bro, this is wild. Wild. Hey, you're gonna have to make that decision. We gotta see. Unless they think up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Yo, stop at the Contra. That's a real gamer right there. I know that one. I know the lady's still going to cage the pussy. Nah, hey, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to save that for the kick streams, y'all. If you're on IG, make sure, if you really fuck with me, man, come through on the YouTube side. And then my after hour streams are on Kick. You can see the links in the pinned comment on IG. Come follow your boy, sub up to the channels and all that stuff. Definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna press the home button and get out. That don't work like that, bro. It don't work like that. My G, this is mad scary. Yeah. I mean, listen, yes. This is, I think we are all imagining in our mind, you know, how this is playing out. Let's take a listen here.
That it is that we expect. When you're under that much water, it's 400 times the pressure that it is that we experience here at atmospheric. You can't transfer them to another vessel. We need to actually somehow hook or claw their vessel and bring it up to the surface, which means we need a ship above them with a 2-mile cable, and then we need to somehow get the hook onto their vessel and then get it back up, which means we probably need another vessel down near them, which can manipulate the hook and get it on, because you can't control a hook at the bottom of a 2-mile cable. So it's a very, very tough problem, and time is running out. When you're...
Bro, by all accounts, all these experts are saying it without saying it. They're done, bro. It just, you know, everything is leading up to this. You know? Yo, not the, there's only one who can find the missing submarine. Yo.
Your nose.
It's just stupid. I'm sure those parts from Camping World are working out quite fine. Yo, chill. I'm convinced that we're banging with the PS3 controller. You have to download the Kick? Yeah, man, do it. You can download the Kick app from the app from both the Google and App stores, y'all. We'll be on there after this stream for after hours. We're kicking it, talking shit, and all that. I can already hear the CEO telling all the foilers, "Don't worry, folks. We will just press the reset button." Yo, for real. Oh man. All right. Now look what sprung up on Twitter. There's an actual Titanic countdown account that just started. It updates every 30 minutes on the time. So let's refresh here and see what we're looking at. The sub currently has 7 hours and 30 minutes of oxygen left. That's if they had the full 96 hours of the oxygen reserves and nothing else happened, right? If nothing else, imploded or anything like that, they're at 7 hours, y'all, which means, early morning, it'll be donezo. And, just, that's it. You know what I mean? They just sugarcoating the truth and need to say what they really mean. Well, come on, man. I mean, think about it. They're not gonna just come outright and say, like, look, the truth is we're not gonna get them in time. So at this point, we're just doing a recovery operation. We're planning for the recovery. They're probably not gonna be alive at this point. They're not gonna do that because the family, man. Like, imagine if the family, you want to have hope that they can be found. It's a false sense of hope, I think. So they're just going along with, hey, we're doing our best to rescue and search and rescue, yada, yada, yada. But I think, truthfully, they're just planning for the recovery out, to find out where are they and recover it so that they can get the remains to the family so they can do a proper burial. That's about as best you can do in this scenario. Am I the only person that doesn't give a hell about the people in the submarine? Y'all stay woke. It's a distraction. I don't think it's a distraction. I mean, it's about to end tomorrow anyway, for the most part. Also, look at this, y'all. This is dirty. There are currently gambling odds on whether the Titanic submarine will be found. Let's take a look at what the odds are right now. Will the missing submarine be found by June 23rd? 12 cents. What? Yo, people are messed up, bro. This is almost like some Black Mirror type stuff where you vote or gamble on whether people live or die. It essentially even said it right here. Never seen people bet on if someone lives or dies. Wow. We living in some crazy times. Crazy times. They could probably see the Malaysian Airlines that got it lost a couple of years ago across the street. What else? Should take odds on what song they tapping on the submarine. Adrian, what's up, man? Who's exited for the Trinity pack? What you mean? That's a ghost ship? Yeah. Oh, and Hitman 3? I have a feeling that they're in communication with them, but told them there's no way to get you back up. I don't think so. Listen, there's nothing to be gained if for the military and rescue groups to not divulge that they're in contact with them. You know what I mean? There's nothing to gain from that. I don't think they're withholding that. In fact, it'd be better if they did say, we got a hold of them, yada, yada, yada. That's how I see it. Wait, I thought the Titanic split before it went down. It did split before it went down. They about to make another movie called Titan. Yeah, they are. Y'all know that this is about to be a movie, right? Michael Bay, or I don't know who's gonna make it. Probably Michael Bay. Is gonna make this into a movie in like 2 years tops. Mark my words. 2 years, we're gonna get a movie called Titan. You know what I mean? And it's gonna play out this whole scenario. For sure. What up, Bubba? What y'all think they're doing in the submarine, knowing the end is coming? Pfft, bro, that is what we're all essentially thinking about right now, which is, you know, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on in there? I've been in some near-death experiences, like 5 off the top of my head in my life, and each one of those times, I distinctly remember. I don't want to say the life flash before your eyes thing. It was more so of like a moment of, is this it? You know what I mean? It was like it was a moment where in my mind I'm like, oh shit, I think this is it. And it's a different feeling took over my body. And then once it passed and like you make it through, you're like, oh shit, guess today wasn't my day. You know what I mean? But that's why for me, I'm sitting there thinking about it. I had a recent situation last week where I got caught. I could have died last week. I was out on Lake Michigan, and there was a microburst. It was a weather pattern that wasn't predicted. It came in, and next you know, I'm in 4-foot waves, you know, on the lake, and it was brutal. The winds were like 30 miles an hour, 4-foot waves. You know, I had to radio in the Coast Guard to let them know, like, hey, I'm not in immediate danger, but like, if I am, here's where I'm at, and start the rescue in this area. But in my mind, same thing. I remember, I'm like, damn, is this how it's gonna be? Is this, you know what I mean? Is this about to be the, you know, end of it? And again, I didn't spaz out, but remember, people are built different. You know, we've all seen the movies when people are trapped together, and you've always got that one archetype person that is the frantic, losing their mind, panicking, and you got to slap the shit out of them or do something else to tell them to, like, yo, chill out. You know? You know what I mean? Did they even test the ship? I don't even know. If Michael Bay makes the movie, it will have them discovering the Transformers have sunk the Titanic. Shut up. I wonder if they are using their phones to record their experiences and saying their final goodbyes. Oh, wow. You know? It's possible, right? Imagine they recover the sub, and that, I'm sure they're gonna have all of that, man. They're gonna get all of that. If it didn't implode anyway, you know what I'm saying? Or you got the MacGyver type dude as well. Yeah. Where are the robots at where they send down with the camera? You know, good question. I'm pretty sure they're deploying all of those things over to the area for the search mission. You know, but here's the thing about it is that we're far more advanced in our aviation than I believe we are in our you know, ocean, what's the word I'm looking for? Not aviation, in our maritime, you know, in our maritime technology. Specifically though, you know, when it comes to submersibles like submarines, outside of military submarines, right? Like nuclear subs, stuff like that. But like these kinds of subs are like the exploration, research, science. Dude, look, I mean, look, it looks like a sperm. You know what I mean? It looks like one of my sperm out coming my balls. You know what I mean? Like it like that's the best design. You know what I mean? Think about aviation, the jets, the Raptor, the F-35 now, which is the current 5th gen fighter. You know, think about our commercial jets. This, like, all of our aviation airframes and aircraft, pretty well advanced. Like, granted, we're not in spaceships just yet, like, you know, like it's the Jetsons or Star Wars or Star Trek, but our aviation in terms of within our own atmosphere outside of space, it's pretty damn good. We're not even close when it comes to submersibles. First of all, you would have passed out. First of all, Joanna, if we were in that together, you know you won't give me some. Hey, look, any lady that's in there stuck with me, you gonna give me some before we die. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You are going to give me some. You know, the one day they saw something and went trying to get off the planet. Yeah. 250K for the ride. Yup. 250K to pay for your death is crazy. You know, so the problem here is like we're just not in the advancement place where our aviation is, and all of these vessels. I mean, to get down 2-3 miles down to the down into the water, it's far, dude. It's pitch black, ice cold, immense amount of pressure. You know, we still haven't developed like what I think would probably be more efficient, submarines for like these research exploration stuff. Yeah. So I think that's what makes it very challenging for the rescue operation here. Like we're using like not exactly the most advanced, stuff to go down in the water. Would you take out the other 4 people to buy some more time for hours of oxygen? Damn. That's a real scenario that could have happened in there. Someone could have just, wiped out the other ones and they're just chilling down there by themselves right now. Anything could have happened, bro. That's the crazy part about it. What's to say the CEO didn't die first and nobody knows how to operate? That could have happened too. Again, any scenario we all think of, it could have happened right now. It could have played out. We don't know. We don't know. What's up, George? NASA was originally a marine flora exploration and mapping unit. Didn't know that. The Megalodon got him. Hey, jokes aside, remember, we've only explored about 10% of our oceans. Who knows what's really down at the depths of the ocean that we have never known is down there. Maybe there is some type of animal creature that is a remnant from the prehistoric era, that lives down there, and we just never ran into them. You know what I mean? Like we know about whales and stuff like that. I think that there's some other shit down there that never comes up high enough in the water column for us to like find them. They're like down there in the very, very depths of the ocean, chilling. You know what I mean? Shit, Namar might be down there with the whole, what do you call it? Tamakatan, or what do you call the city? Y'all remember that from the Black Panther 2? I love that movie. It's great. There might be a whole civilization on there, goddammit. You know what I mean? Who knows? The Kraken. Yo, for real. You never know. I'm not even a conspiracy theorist at all, but I'm just saying, like, 90% of the ocean has not been explored, bro. There's got to be other things down there. Mermaids took them. Moon got a question. What's up, George? My mother-in-law came from down there. That's dirty. That's dirty. Guys, if you're on IG, don't forget, y'all. If you want to support your boy, if you want to support your boy, make sure you just come over, sub to the YouTube channel, djmoondawglive. And for the after-hour streams, give your boy a follow on the new Kick channel where we do all our 18+ adult conversations and topics and gets crazy and all that on Kick. The links are posted in the pinned comment on the IG chat. So you want to do your boy solid, do that way. I'm also real quick going to be doing, so on my IG, for those that want to support, go further. I do have subscriptions enabled for my IG. And I think what I'm going to start doing, I'll mention it in stories and all that stuff, but I've had people reach out asking me like how to grow their IG and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna start doing content for subscribers on my IG to help y'all that are trying to create on Instagram to grow your shit. I've grown mine since October at millions. It's I figured it out basically. So look forward to that. Ursula down there. Well, I'm ready for Waterworld. Y'all get ready. Me what? They're a goner? I know ain't no black folk going that deep in the ocean. I think they got attacked by Jack's soul and souls that died in Titanic accident. Yeah, you know, like people do believe that, you know, that might be like haunted. You had such a extreme tragedy happen there with all those souls. Like there's people that believe that that could be a epicenter for supernatural things because of all those souls that were lost that day in that one tragedy. You know what I mean? Let's take a look real quick before we switch over to something else. Yo, I'm watching from Barbados. What up, what up, what up? Where's Aquaman? Definitely not on duty right now. Bro, the Titanic went down pitch black. Yeah. Yup. I sent stuff to react to if you want. Yeah, I gotta post about that. Hey, real quick. So I have on my IG, I have a they call it channels. You can, if you go to my profile on IG, you can join the channel, and I'm gonna post in there my Discord link for those I want to send stuff in, because I'm not gonna go through my DMs anymore. It's too much work. I'm gonna probably close my DMs. It's too crazy, man. So I think I'm only gonna take submissions for stuff through our Discord, my community Discord. It makes it easier for me to find stuff. It's just laid out a lot better. Plus, when you're in the Discord, you get to chop it up with everybody else in the community, and you know, we get to kick it a little bit more. So I'll post that information within the Mind the MoonDawg channel. It's like a text channel on my IG page. So you go to the profile, you'll see it up there. You can join it. It's free. Just click in, and then as I post stuff, you get notifications. Yo, Brookie, what's up? Don't leave, Joanna. Yo, ass be going to bed so early with your old ass. But thanks about it like this. Urge people to stop trying to dump. Yeah, basically. All right, let's move on, man. Because that shit's mad depressing. However, let me ask y'all this: how many of y'all are fans of Black Mirror?
But we begin.
We already saw that.
As we've mentioned, ocean.
This is the one I want to see. All right. I got a question. How many of y'all are fans of Black Mirror? How many of y'all have watched season 6 that just came out on Netflix? Me? You? Hopefully. If not, watch it. It's good. It's just as good as any of the prior seasons of the show. But out of all of the, I think there might be like 6 or 7 episodes, there's one that absolutely blew my mind. It was crazy. And not too far off in some ways from current events happening with the Titan submarine that's now lost down in the depths by the Titanic, which is very sad and crazy. But real quick in chat, how many of you have seen this episode? You've got the guy from Jesse Pinkman. I forgot the actor's name from Breaking Bad. He's in this episode. And I didn't know what to expect going into this specific episode, which is called Beyond the Sea. But spoiler alert, if you have not watched it, you do not want to watch what we're about to play right now, because this is going to cover the ending and explain it and break it down, because it was absolutely a complete, my mind literally was like just no, like this. That was my brain at the end of this episode. Just did not see it coming, which is pretty typical for Black Mirror shows. They set you up, you start to think things are going to end this one direction, this one way, and then boom, they hit you with a curveball you never saw coming. And for this episode, it's not even a curveball, bro. This is just something totally different, a whole different experience. So we're going to jump into this and take a look at Beyond the Sea, the ending explained here, and wow, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host, Paul, and this video we're breaking down Black Mirror Beyond the Sea.
Yeah.
The entry takes a really dark turn at points, and throughout this video we're going to be going through that final scene, all the things that led up to it, and every connection we could find to the other Black Mirror episodes. Now the song Beyond the Sea is used throughout the entry, and this carries a hell of a lot with it. It's a tune that's pretty much entered the pop culture zeitgeist over the last couple of years, with it being used in a lot of films and TV shows. The most recent one I can think of is A Quiet Place 2, which is where it was used to signal sanctuary on an island beyond the sea. However, here its usage is a lot more metaphorical, with its lyrics being what state we find the characters in. The lyrics center around a couple separated by the sea, with the singer longingly talking about how one day they'll be together. That's what happens in this episode too, with both our quote-unquote sailors out in space and having to share a body to be with the person that they love. This depiction's set in 1969, and it's an alternate universe in which space travel has some upsides to it. Whilst people are out on their journeys, they're capable of traveling back to Earth through a Neuralink and inhabiting machines known as replicas so that they can be with their family. Now one thing about space travel is that it would definitely be lonely, and thus this allows them to have a link back on Earth that they can be with for their own sanity.
Yeah, basically, right? Very similar to like being stuck in a submarine, right? At least they can go back and have some sort of connection to their people and stuff.
Guessing Brucker came up with the idea during lockdown, and as we know, several people were forced to remain inside, which could be torturous if they were by themselves. I'd imagine it would be like solitary confinement, so the link back home is extremely important. However, the episode questions what would happen if that link was severed, and those in space had to remain there whilst dealing with the pain that they'd lost everything back home. There'd be no way to return to the planet, and thus they'd be stuck wondering what was happening with no way to contact anyone.
So let me give you some context here, okay? Again, spoiler alert coming inbound, coming in hot. If you don't want to hear it, click off right now. Okay, so this is one of the pilots right here. Essentially what happened is this zealot group of people, these hippies, broke into his home, and they called him out for being, you know, an abomination because of his replica. It's basically a robot, like a cyborg, I guess, or whatever. And so they hold him down, they dismember the robot version of him, and then they do the unthinkable, which is kill his wife and kids, because even though the wife and kids were actual real humans, they punished them because what they were doing with the husband as the robot and all this stuff was, you know, against the natural order of things is what happens, right? So boom, he witnesses that happen to his family. He's in space. And then he just kind of loses it, and he's up there and he's just completely detached. You know, imagine you just witnessed your family getting murked, and you're stuck in space. And they had 2 years. They were already up there for 2 years. They had 4 more years to go. So it can be 4 years before you can even come back. You missed the funerals, right? So it sets it up like he's really just out of it, right, after this whole situation. Then it leads into, right? Then it leads into the other pilot that's up there with them says, you know what if you try and get in my body just so you can feel like you're back on Earth, just to help to cope. And as he allows him to use his replica body, and he's around his wife and kid, he ends up kind of getting an attachment to the other guy's wife. You guys following me? That's the whole setup for all of this.
Now the two men we follow are David and Cliff, who are out in space on their voyage. Both are opposites to each other, with David finger banging his wife and having intimate moments of romance, whereas Cliff refuses to touch his. things take a turn for the worst when a murderous cult shows up at David's house and they brutally kill his family in front of him and then destroy his replica. I was wondering why they didn't reverse things and send the replica into space, but I'm guessing that they did it the other way around so they could fix things on Earth if it came to it. You also wouldn't have an episode if that was the case, and yeah, but it was just something I thought about when watching it, yeah? My mind starts to wonder. Now, David's, of course, hit with agonizing pain, and Cliff and his wife Lana decide to offer a kindness to him and allow him to use Cliff's replica. It basically becomes Cooks in Space, with David overstepping boundaries the more and more he visits. Initially, he's thankful to just get a hug, but before too long, he's traveling into town, hitting their son, and making moves on Lana. He plays beyond the sea in order to try and seduce her, which is something that he also did with his deceased wife. Sharing Cliff's body, he gives Lana what she's been craving, and somewhat weaponizes the love that he and his wife used to have. The two are very much beyond the sea, and this is because they're separated by the metaphorical distance between them, which is keeping them apart. He sees Cliff as someone who doesn't appreciate what he has, and having lost it all, he thinks he'd give Lana what she desires. He's artistic, seems kind and comforting, and even from the intro we see him sketching his two kids. However, with Lana he oversteps the line and basically makes the 60s version of deepfake nudes. Guy can't let Cliff have what he wants either, and in the end he kills Lana and their son, stranding them both in space. Offering him a chair come the final shot, he's very much welcoming him to come and join him in hell. Now, Cliff only has two choices here, and he can either sit beside him and have some company, or he can kill David and suffer the agonizing adventure without him. Though I think this episode went on way too long, the final moment is something I think I'm going to remember for a long time, as it made me question what I'd do in this exact same situation. Now, personally, might be something you disagree with, but personally, I don't think that Cliff would have took the deal. This was a man who was already used to the distance, and we know that he wasn't intimate with his wife or close to his son at all. Therefore, he could potentially be mentally equipped just to be by himself, and I think the character development is there to go with that idea. However, things might have altered though, as in his final goodbye to his wife and son, he touches them both, showing things might have changed. Now, as with the first two entries, there's lots of callbacks to other Black Mirror episodes. Aaron Paul actually gave a vocal cameo on the space-themed USS Callister without potentially being used due to him being a famous astronaut. He might not be that celebrated because he's probably known as a murderer, but there is the connection there beyond just this as well. That episode itself also dealt with similar themes, as it centered around men that wanted to control women and went into a rage when they couldn't get what they were after. On top of that, at the start of the entry there's a theatre listing for Space Fleet, which Robert in USS Callister based his mod off. So I think the connections are definitely apparent, and it was theorized that this was actually the first Black Mirror episode that was a direct sequel to another. I don't think you need to watch that to understand this one at all, but there are some mental gymnastics that you can pull off to pair them together. Now, in David's home, the painted symbol from White Bear appears, and this shows up in blood for a split second. This shows up at roughly the 20-minute 30 mark, and the people here are obviously based on the Manson family, with their being ties to murder. This scene is, of course, eerily similar to the murder of Sharon Tate and her guests, which happened in 1969 out in California. I also think that due to their motives, that this was riffing slightly on the cult from the movie Contact. That saw interstellar travel being listed as an affront to God, and thus they attempted to stop the experiments through using brutal means. Now, I'd definitely be remiss if I also didn't talk about the clear nods to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Both films feature characters traveling on long distances that are separated from their home, and they miss birthdays, have to speak to their families through month-old voice recordings, and are completely detached from each other. We have the ships having circular insides, and one of the characters is called David. Cliff is locked outside the airlock, much like how David was in that film, but he's let back in because Dave can't bear being alone. At least, that's how I took it anyway. I know.
Yo, this part was crazy right here. He's kind of going through it real fast, but what ends up happening is this guy on the right, the Jesse Pinkman guy, I forgot his real name. He finds out that this guy is using his body and making moves on his wife. He confronts him. You'll never have her. She's mine. Da 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 da. And so he ends up sending a fake alarm that he had to go out and explore outside the ship. And when he's crawling back to the ship, in this part, he's banging on the hatch. And at this point, in my mind, I'm thinking that, oh, damn, he set him up to just let him, leave him out in space to die. And like, he's just going to go and go back in his body and just be with his wife, pretend like he's him now, replace him, right? But then he opens up the hatch and he's back inside. And it's at this point when he's back inside, right? This is where, I'm telling you, this is it's a complete mind fuck. I'm telling you. And at this point, he's like, there's nothing wrong out there, yada, yada, yada. And then he looks at him. He notices, like, he's like, why'd you take so long to open the door? And he's looking at him. He just got that sus look, right? All the way sus, like this. So he's like, what did you do? So boom, he runs over. He jumps back into the thing to go into his replica body. And that's where he discovers that his wife and kid are done. Like the blood, a pool of blood and everything. And then that's where it leads into this scene where he comes back through the door to see him right here. And then he kicks open the chair and is like, have a seat. Essentially be like, now we're both in the same thing. It was the wildest thing I done seen, bro. Wild. I mean, even though I told you what happened, it's worth watching how this all played out.
Of course, needs two people to man it. He welcomes him to be by his side, and this is even though he's done something that will destroy any possible friendship that the pair could have. It's also possible that they might even use Cliff's replica back on Earth, and this could be a way that they keep journeying back to the planet. This offering appears like a partnership, with David potentially wanting them to have this thing that they can both use. Probably wanted for murder, but yeah, we never see Cliff's replica destroyed, so I'm guessing that it still works. Now we also have the book, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which talks about people that live on the moon battling for independence from Earth. Cliff and David both still have attachments to Earth, but severing this at the end means that they're now independent from the planet. In the book, those on the moon don't have the equality that the people of Earth do, and they're very much fighting to have equal rights. Equality could be something that's seen in this episode too, as David leaves Cliff in the same position as him by killing all his family. He pushes the chair out almost as if he's an equal, and though that might be a reach, it's there if you want to see it.
No, it's definitely, to me, the way I interpreted that part when he kicks out the chair is like, look, now we're both two assholes that lost our families. You know what I mean? Now you know what I'm going through. It was wild, bro.
If you want to see it. Now lastly is the word mistress in the book, which may be playing on Lana, though she doesn't really come across that way. Either way, that ends the episode though, and yeah, like I said, I think it could have been cut down, but it has an ending that will definitely stick with me for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Thing anyway, might be dead next week, but you know what I mean. Really well acted though, and you can see the character development here in full effect, and after watching this, I hope Josh Hartnett gets cast as Bruce Wayne, because the man looks like how I'd imagine him to. I know he nearly got the role with Nolan, but well, look, I'm going off track. Anyway, I will be back with more breakdowns on the show very shortly, so make sure you stay locked.
You get the idea here, man. If you have not watched Black Mirror season 6, they got some bangers in there, and for sure, Beyond the Sea is the one you have to watch. It's just that good. It's just that good. You're gonna have to watch it now? Absolutely. You should. You should. All right, let's take a quick look real quick before we wrap it up. Any other updates here on the Titan? Let's see. Bro, look at this. For $2,500, I could take you to explore the bottom of the Ohio River to see the 1989 Buick Century. Departures June 30th. Book now. They dirty, bro. Why are they doing that? They're so dirty with the jokes. So dirty with the jokes. Oh, man. All right, y'all. Hey, look. The party is going to continue on my Kick channel. All right. It's pinned in the comments on IG. Kick.com djmoondawglive. What we're going to do tonight, I don't know just yet. We're going to play some shit, talk some shit, got some music. We're going to change up the music, play some music, and just see where the night takes us, man. So if you want to continue to hang with your boy, come on through kick.com djmoondawglive. There's an app. You can get it in the App Store so you can watch it from your mobile device or whatever you want to do. And if you missed any part of the stream tonight, you can always watch all of it back on my YouTube channel at djmoondawglive. Definitely sub to the channels, follow the channels, and it definitely helps your boy out. If you didn't already see it, there's a new React Reel up with Shorty being an independent woman and the big ass knot in her head. So enjoy that one. Hopefully it brings you a little bit of laughter here. Ocean Gate was literally Fire Festival for Under the Sea. I hate you. I hate you, Bubbles. Who gonna share their Netflix password? Well, you know, we haven't done it in a while. So if you guys don't know, in my Discord, we would do like movie nights, and I'll put on a movie, and all of us will be in all in the channel. We're all watching some shit. So again, on my IG, I'll put the link to my Discord in the Mind the Moondawg channel. If you go to my profile on IG, you'll see like there's a little thing you can click. Oh, here, I'll show you right now. All right, so look. Let's go full screen. All right. So right there, it says the Mind the Moondawg. You click that little thing, it'll take you to the channel. There's like these two little chat bubbles next to it, the Mind the Moondawg. You could join the channel, and then I'll post the link in there where you guys can join the Discord. And we'll have to get back to doing it. Usually in the wintertime and all that, we do it a lot more often. Summertime, you know, we're out in these streets, everyone's moving around doing stuff. So, but that is normally what we'll do, like movie nights and stuff like that. We'll pull up and watch some shit. So if you don't got the Netflix code or HBO Max, and you know what I'm saying, y'all can leech off of me. It's the least I could do. All right, so we are going to move over to Kick. IG fam, much love. Thank y'all for the support. Again, the pinned comments below, DJ MoondawG Live on YouTube, DJ MoondawG Live on Kick, come through, and I will see y'all probably Friday on IG. So HBO Max doesn't work in Europe. You need a VPN, Bubbles. You gotta get that. You gotta get that VPN working for you. All right. Cool. All right, yo, IG, I'm out this bitch. We're gonna go over to Kick here in a second. So pull up on the Kick side and come fuck with your boy. That's all I got. Have a great rest of your night. YouTube fam, stay with me though, because we're gonna switch over here in a second. All right, so let me just end this real quick. Perfect. All right, we're off of IG. Cool. And we are about to get us shit popping. Hold on. All right, 1 second. There we go. All right, YouTube. Move on over to Kick. Moving over to Kick. I think, let me see. Yeah, we should have the bot work there, I believe. Hopefully it works. There it is. There's the link, guys. Come on over from YouTube over to Kick. You want to keep the party going, man. All right. Much love. I'll see y'all later. If you don't want to hang. All right.